Demand generation is like what powers everything in your funnel, top to bottom. It is not one, it is like the lightning strike that goes all the way through.
Let's get into ABM and demand gen targeting. So we're big believers of ABM being something that you do and not necessarily something that you buy. So Hana, are you running any account-based campaigns right now? And how do you target, using accounts versus your ICP?
Yeah, and I would say we have done like very specific ABM campaigns, but I would say like the way that we approach ABM today is it's a layered effort on top of demand generation. And I will die on this hill. Demand generation is like what powers everything in your funnel, top to bottom. It is not one, it is like the lightning strike that goes all the way through. ABM sits in different areas of the funnel as well. So I think that ABM is a component of demand gen. I think that ABM is also not just bottom of funnel. A lot of people think of ABM as like, okay, it's sales and marketing alignment. It is pushing things across the line, pushing these accounts to sale, but there's still a targeting and an acquisition component to that. So that's kind of my preface before diving into like what we do is we have a layered approach to our demand gen. And then within that, we say, okay, we have this broad strategy. So for like marketing ops confessions, for example, we have, we're targeting the marketing ops audience and community as a whole with a couple of different goals there, obviously trying to amplify the voices within the community and build relationships. But that's fairly broad, right? So on top of that, we also have a strategy within that same program to attack certain accounts. And I don't like that word attack, build relationships with certain accounts.
You said violence like 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yes, I chose violence again. So building relationships with certain accounts within these same efforts. So we have this broad approach, but then our more targeted ABM approach might be, we have 10 accounts this quarter, and we want 5 of them to be guests on Marketing Ops Confessions. And that's how we're going to start building relationships with them. That's how we're going to start hearing them and listening to what their pain points are, what they care about. And that then allows us to have the data to, again, build out that relationship and see where they fit in our funnel, and then put them into other various campaigns, whether it be one-to-one with our sales, or we even do like a lot of like one-off, like one account, here's what we're going to do with this one account. So that's kind of how we approach ABM as a whole. And yes, I feel very passionate about the demand gen mega cloud that fuels the funnel.
I will die on that hill with you, so you have company. Sidney, how are you approaching ABM targeting versus demand gen targeting?
Yeah, I think they're like targeting wise, it's very similar. You're just kind of using an account list on top. Similar how we might do, an ICP, like larger campaign, and then have like subsections under that. That's how I looked at ABM. So you should hopefully have your accounts tiered. You should have them segmented in some way, ideally segmented in a somewhat unique way to your business. Not just like, well, these countries and this revenue, that's what everybody's doing. And you could probably create a lot better approach and content strategy and deployment if you thought about segmentation a little bit differently. And that's kind of on the strategy side. So we like to work with clients saying, okay, you have this account list. This is what you want. ABM is not just running paid ads at these different lists. So you should have a strategy for your different groupings or your tiers, however you want to work with that internally. But your top 50 accounts, we can do some paid campaigns, but it's going to be probably heavily non-paid and very organic and very involving with like more one-to-one and a sales outreach, maybe field marketing, compared to maybe your, other larger lists. And one thing, as you start segmenting down, even with your ICP list, but even more with your account base, right? You need to have the content engine and the design engine flywheel to support that. Because if you're just running the same exact content with maybe slightly different creatives, I feel like there could probably be just put them all in the same audience then, right? Like the whole point of breaking them out into separate audiences is to maybe test different messaging, test different pain points that account or tier of accounts might have compared to others. And it translates in the same way for your ICP. So that's why I kind of see them very similar in like structure and approach and how we might deploy. But what we might deploy and how we work on that organic strategy with paid, with events, it's got to be all one together. Like I said, you're not just going to get there with running social campaigns and, who knows, maybe you're doing display or something. I don't know.
Let's not mention the D word. Yeah.
But,
Maurice, how does that approach compare to what you guys are doing at LaunchDarkly?
So to be quite honest, and I don't want to be here, we don't actually do very much ABM.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, we run demand. And so like we have segments and we run some different plays with, like, oh, maybe we have like a hospitality, like insurance, something like a bunch of different segments. But for the most part, ABM can be difficult, because you want to give them the handheld approach, take them all the way through with sales. But sometimes it can be expensive, it can be hard, it can be really, really time consuming. That's something that we're building out, but it's at LaunchDarkly, it's been I've only been at LaunchDarkly for a little bit, and we are getting things in motion to be able to do ABM. But as of right this moment, we are focusing on demand because it's more profitable for us.